friends. This is Thursday, and this is Whispers from Eternity. We move now into a couple of prayer demands that are much stronger than some of the previous ones of devotion. This one's called, it's number 145. It's called, Help Me to Win the Battle of Life. O King of Kings, train thou in me in the camp of discipline, the noble qualities of calmness and self-control. Be thou their divine general, like Krishna of yore, against the invading hordes of darkness, passion, and greed. Protect the celestial kingdom of my mind against entry by the tenacious warriors of evil. Let thy banner of peace wave always above the strong castle of my soul. The other day, we had a guest speaker at Ananda Blue Lotus Temple for Sunday service, our friend Shanti Rubenstone, and she made a comment about the spiritual path that I myself have made from time to time, which is that many people come to the spiritual path needing help, seeking inner peace, seeking relief from emotional upset, grief, and so forth. And so the peace that they seek is very well symbolized by most faith traditions, and certainly by the practice of yoga. The very symbol of peace in this world is one sitting in lotus pose, calmly, like the Buddha, images of the Buddha, all convey the peace of yoga. And so it is when we are giving classes in the spiritual teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, of the yoga traditions, we come to the somewhat interesting analogy of the spiritual path given to us from India, which is the analogy or metaphor of life as a battlefield, not as inner peace. Of course, there's peace to be found in the inner kingdom of the mind when it is still in the presence of God and devotion, of course. And yet, as this prayer demand suggests, we have to make the effort. All true faith traditions, all true spiritual teachers, of course, encourage us to, as in the Lord's Prayer, to avoid temptation, to stay on the path of righteousness, to, in the yogic tradition, to have a good, balanced diet. All these things take self-effort, willpower, self-discipline. No one can meditate for you. Only you can sit down day and night, morning and evening, closing your eyes and opening your heart, lifting your gaze and allowing all the senses to withdraw into your center and offering them back to their source in God. And so life as a battlefield is fairly obvious from many points of view. Historically, history is nothing but a series of battles and conquests. That seems to be the only thing people remember and even treasure and honor. On a daily basis in life, of course, the child has to learn bodily control. The child has to go off to school and learn his or her lessons. The adolescent has to deal with all sorts of conflicting, confusing signals from the body and from the world around. The adult needs education also, and to establish a career and support himself and perhaps a family as well. Then we fight off diseases and all sorts of things. So life as a battle is pretty obvious. And yet, in the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, self-realization, as it says every Sunday when we do our Festival of Light, that living for the self, living for the body, ultimately brings suffering and disappointment. attuning ourselves to the divine presence, the will of God, doing that which is right and true, brings to us satisfaction, contentment, and inner joy. And so the battlefield image, though a necessary part of self-effort, is not an end in itself. Some people I know probably enjoy a good battle. After all, think of all those people marching off to war with hurrahs and bands and that sort of thing. So people do get into that kind of thing. But to do so is to mistake the path for the goal of the path. The goal of the path is to know, love, and serve God as one, to transcend the limitations of the body, the personality, and the ego, and to know that we are children of the infinite light. And so the purpose of the battle is to transcend the need for the battle. And we must keep these things in perspective. Each has their place. There are, you might say, twin sides to the spiritual path: the effort we make to stay centered, to transcend the demands of the ego and the body for comfort and so forth, and also to receive the grace of the divine presence. Not just transcend the ego, but to receive, to as many as receive the divine presence are given the power to transcend the ego and to live in the joy of that grace. So let us continue the battle and let us receive the light. Blessings. See you tomorrow.